and Scotty Clarke, the producer, Alone Nobody.
Graham Lester George, ladies and gentlemen, the MC this evening. Graham Lester George.
Well, before we kick off asking questions, I've just got one or two things that I ran past John earlier on, so I just want to let him have a go at these. One thing that came up in the film was that his work is now part of the national curriculum, and kids are getting into John Cooper Clarke. And so, I mean, your work's very accessible, John, but it's also quite challenging. And it seems to inspire kids to have a go at writing poems. Do you think that's what you wanted?
I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that. Yeah, no, it's accessible. It's a very oft-used term, isn't it? But I don't think you should ever kind of dumb down entirely on account of this. You know, people want what they can have. You know what I mean? So I like to think like you said, I like to think there is a bit of a, you know.
There's a challenge.
Yeah, I like to think so.
Yeah. So it's easy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a complex game.
But there's another comment that came from the film which I liked a lot, which is you said, why poetry? Why any of it?
That's a good question.
Like all art, it's utterly useless. But it isn't really, is it?
Well, it's a luxury, as I say, yeah. I think it is useless. I mean that in the nicest possible way. I can't think of a function it performs in life other than it's just like I say, a luxury, really.
Yeah, but if somebody broke into your house and stole all of your art...
Oh, well, to me, I mean,
left you with a washing machine.
Well, I wouldn't like that because I wrote it and then, you know, I've got it stored up on an e-bank. So it kind of, if that happened, or if we had a fire or something, obviously I'd be perturbed about that.
But I mean, if there was a special kind of burglar who went round robbing houses. Yeah, specialist burglar. Went round stealing poetry, music, books, but left all the
That's an ever diminishing. That's not a rich vein of theft.
Life would be pretty dull if we just had our white goods, wouldn't it?
Listen, I don't think that guy's ever going to exist, you know. I wish I could throw a great percentage of my poetry is in books that's mostly rubbish in those books, but somewhere in there is something I'm going to use again, so I can't throw any of it out. It's all long-ganged. None of it's on any, as I say, it's not electronically stored anywhere. So if that burglar's got any sense, if he did that, he'd wind up with a house like mine. And it would embark on a life of crime in order to achieve that.
So let's throw it open. If I can see any hands going up anywhere. Okay, 1 o'clock. I can't see, but anyway.
Why don't I make records anymore? Because I think you can see from that film that I'm really not an ensemble player. No, I have to be in control. The one thing I learned watching this film about myself is that I'll never do that again. I think, now, I don't agree with you. I think, you know, at Beasley Street, when it was coming in and out of Me on My Own and then with them, they're holding me back. They take the spring out of my step, you know. Musicians are usually depressing company anyway. You know, and not being funny about that. Pardon?
When you did I Want to Be Yours, it was brilliant.
That's one of the times where it works out fine. I like that one. I like Night People, and I like one called A Distant Relation. And, you know, it's considered and melodic. You know, I like those.
I like the fact that it slows you down
See, I don't like that. That's where I found company from you. Well, you know, I think you get it sooner or later. I don't think it's as fast as you remember it, really. But if you look at me doing sort of Beasley Street on there, you know, it's kind of, I'm winging it. Some verses are slower than, cranks up for a bit. And it's just got its own organic kind of pace. I've got to be, the thing is, basically, I've got to be in control. And if you're surrounded by people that are experts in what they do, you might have an idea of what it's going to be in your head, but, they're musicians and I'm not. And, it's nothing worse than that, then it's like, it can't be done. They love to say that, musicians.
We take another question.
It can't be done. That's a drag. I wouldn't ever, it puts years on me. Can't get off this now. Working with music puts years on me for really a very small degree of improvement. So, no.
Okay, another one, please. No, here in the white shirt.
Pardon? Well, I've done that. I've done that, but I didn't have to be anywhere with any equipment or anything. I just, did the number, the way I do it. And then he, put his stuff in there, got his crew in there to, chart it up as it is in the film, and it turned out great. No, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that. Pardon?
He produced.
Yeah, he did everything. I just had to be there. I was just, hired help. But I did write the number. But I did write the poem, which is a much longer piece actually than that would lead you to believe. I did write the poem for the movie actually. So it's a good piece. I'm very pleased with it. Picture the plight of young families, it's called.
Okay, there's someone here with the dark shirt.
Hi John, how painful was your divorce from the monster?
No, it's one of the first no-blame divorces I think. Which is a drag, because I blamed her. I wasn't given the opportunity to do that. I never had my day in court, and it'll never stop hurting.
Anyone? Oh, someone here in the white shirt.
Hiya, John.
Hiya.
They've moved the BBC to Salford and given up London's going to be underwater sometime in the extension. Do you think the line in Salford was the next capital city in the
Can you prove this is going to happen? The London flooding, I mean, or is it just wishful thinking on a biblical scale? The move to Salford, I don't know what it is. I've no idea, but I tell you what, I listen to Radio 4 a lot, and I'm sick. Everybody's got a Salford accent now. Even if it's Dr. Ye's a production of Dr. Zhivago from our Salford studio. They all sound like people I've been avoiding all my life.
Someone over there.
Hello, I'm Mancunian. Do you think there's something about Manchester that makes people more creative? No offence,
Well, maybe it's the rain indoor fostering the bad weather, fostering an indoor culture. If you see, not non-athletic. This is actually the case in Australia, where Melbourne, which is the rainier of the cities, it's more arty than Sydney, where it's more surfy. They get a bit of rain, and they get the odd rainy day in Melbourne, and so that's where Nick Cave comes from.
I can see a hand raised over here.
So maybe you're onto something. I think maybe it's something to do with the weather. Okay. But you're right, we're very well served with literary time. Landlocked? Not really. We've got the Manchester Ship Canal, which connects us to the Americas. Right adequately.
I think he doesn't want to hear me because I lived in Liverpool for quite a while. And I was wondering, you were saying that you don't think poetry has a purpose, it's
then? Well, if I am, I'm glad. If I am, I'm glad. And it would seem sort of disingenuous to deny that I am, so yes, no. I'm glad about it. I'm glad about that aspect of it, yes. There's a lot of enforced idleness in the world now, and idleness is the poet's best friend.
There's a lady with glasses with a hand up there.
Yeah, and you've obviously just watched your whole career go before your eyes in the past hour. How does that make you feel? What are you thinking when you're watching that?
I watched some of my life flash before me. It was like I nearly died. Next, obviously, I can't believe how bad I was then. That's what I take away from it. I was fucking rubbish. I'm great now. Thanks for giving me the chance. I'm very grateful to you.
Okay, so guy with glasses.
John, I want to know the secret of your creativity, the secret of what's the hair product you use?
I've only just started using products on my hair, but obviously apart from dye. I've only just started using kind of anti-gravitational aids. Before that it was merely backcombing and then just left it up to chance now. But I've discovered they come on leaps and bounds in the hair product area. Johnny Green is a pomade guy. Well, obviously my hair isn't suitable for pomade. It's not neat. It's just smooth looking. But they've got this stuff now called liquid vacuum, which is liquid back comb. Liquid back comb, which is a misnomer because it's actually a powder. Green t-shirt.
You're obviously a very intelligent and eloquent guy. I wonder if you'd think about going into politics like Bongo did.
Like Bongo did. In politics, that wouldn't. I'd have to mix with people I hate. That's terrible. I don't like any of them. But actually, if Nigel Farage asked me nicely, I wouldn't mind being the poster boy for UKIP. I've been saying for quite a while. He's the only guy that really I agree with anything at all that he says. Unfortunately, he's a prick. Life is never kind.
Anyone at the back's got their hand up, I can't see you, so wave. No? Nobody? Oh, this guy down here.
John, have you ever been offered vegetables in a brown paper bag by a stranger?
Where's this leading? Where's it going, this? We used to, the greengrocer was a sort of a stranger to me in my boyhood. And in those days, one always got potatoes in brown paper bags. So, yes, I have. Really. If you can count Mr. Seidelbaum, the local greengrocer, as a stranger, which he virtually was. Our relationship was commercial. So I am, in a way. Does that answer your question?
It does, yeah.
Thank you.
So the other side had their hand up? Oh,
now then, let's be real. Are you really Cooper Clarke? Or are you actually Russell Brand pretending to be Cooper Clarke?
Well, I wish I was so handsome. Russell Brand is a very handsome young man.
Yeah, but he's a twat.
No, I know what you mean. Anybody can slip up. It's a bit out of order there, but, who can cast the first stone and all that? We've all done it. rang up somebody and told them to sleep with the granddaughter. I think we've all done that, haven't we? At some point.
There's another person over here. Yep, in the black.
Thank you. John, can I just ask how you came to be involved in this film? Because Scotty told me that it started with no funding or anything, just from a Gmail address. So how exactly did you come to be involved in something that has such a DIY ethic?
Well, I mean, that's the beauty of it. I think really Scotty and John Ross should answer this one, but this is the first movie they've ever made, and I ain't heard anything other than praise about it, and I think they've done a fantastic job. I've known Scotty for 30 years.
Thank you, John. Well, it's John Ross, Scotty Clarke, and Lucas Roache.
I'm sorry, Lucas, I didn't mention Lucas. Hi.
Yes, it's been a great pleasure to have the privilege to make a film that you've just seen. And as Lassie said, we didn't have an office or a camera. We had a Gmail address and a BlackBerry phone. And we both had day jobs. And through John's contacts in the Nottingham filmmaking community, we had so much support and assistance. And I'd like to take this opportunity. There's some people sitting out there who made this film, who are the unsung heroes. Can you please stand up? You know who you are, don't be shy.
Come on, guys.
Come on, guys. Bristol Cook, Steve Shields. Come on,
Okay, any more questions for... I think there was one down here.
I just want to know, John, you said you liked to be in control. What was it like, from your perspective, having a film made about you, and for the filmmakers, what was it like working with a control freak?
No, I just left it. Sorry. What was it like as a control freak, working in a collaborative situation like a film? Do you mean?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Really, I just sort of left everything up to, as I say, up to Scotty and JR. I've known Scotty for about 30 years, really, on and off, haven't I, Scotty? Is it 25, maybe?
Around that, yeah, it was something before. When John was going through his wilderness years, and he was kind of went from the Premier League down to Ryan,
the Scottish
Dr.
division.
Martin. That's when we met John as a promoter, and decided we wanted to make a film, and really it was coming across John Ross, who actually made the film look as it was, really. So
John's not a control freak either. He really didn't have anything to do with it, really. He just he let us totally get on with it, and I did promise him before we started filming that he would be the first to see the finished item, and if there was anything in it that he really didn't like,
there's a
we
few,
would take it out.
yeah, there's a few unflattering bits of...
There was one that we just drove down to Colchester and show it one afternoon. And, it was quite nervous. He had two comments. But one was, there was a shot of him there where he had a beard, and he's like, that's Scotty. You cannot put that. And the only other comment was, there was a clip of Beasley Street doing Beasley Street in 1978, and he went, still got that shirt.
was a Man City shirt, believe it or not.
We were lucky because the way the schedule works with getting it to broadcast, we didn't actually have that much time. If John had hated it and said, start again, we didn't have much.
You're supposed to turn.
So, but luckily, sort of one of the came, but yeah, it was a quick nervous drive down to Colchester to unveil it.
Well, there's bits of it I love. I love the Sir Henry Newbold footage, you know, of the, you know what I mean, the square that broke. Is that from the Four Feathers?
Yeah, Four Feathers, yeah.
Four Feathers.
Took us ages to get
Yeah, fantastic.
It cost £17 a second to put that in.
The producer of it.
Somebody down here?
Yes. What's the most risky thing that your audiences have when your audiences now react compared to 25 years ago?
What's the the most what thing?
What do people most react to when you perform? What's the most risky thing that you do these days?
Well, this is a very current number. In the light of all this talk of, because of the recent scandals, everybody's talking about aberrant sex is generally in the air. So I wrote this one, which I think is very zeitgeisty, and actually, as it turned out, 2 days later, prophetic. Now I swear it's total guesswork. I'm not an inside guy on any of this. But this is a very succinct little number if you want it. I call this one necrophilia. This is the one that gets them at it now. Fed up with foreplay and all that palaver. Avacadabra. Oh, topical and controversial. And short.
You've just demonstrated that the film is just a review of the first step, the warm-up to your career. Are you all looking forward to doing the sequel in 2048?
That would be great. That guy that said I'd be around at the latter part of the 21st century. I forget who it was now, but I hope he's right.
We never imagined John would survive long enough to promote the film. But he continues to survive.
I just can't imagine being dead. I couldn't shut up for that long.
Randomly put together. Is that deliberate to reflect the poetry of John's?
I'll pass that over to Luke.
Random, how dare you?
Yeah.
I don't know really, I don't know exactly.
It looks very clever, to be honest.
Oh, okay, I'll take that.
It was very considered.
Right, good. A big thing we wanted to do was let the poems breathe, be there in their entirety, instead of just taking 2 lines from this and 2 lines from that, have the whole poems. And so, I think once we made that decision, then that sort of affects, what you need to think how we're going to illustrate this. And usually it's obviously the man himself, but sometimes we want to use that sort of archive footage where we didn't have things.
It feels like a bit of a cheat as well, just to use one piece of footage for each poem, because it's like, well, you're just using somebody else's work to put out in film, so to cut it in different performances in different eras, just to take me through that journey a bit better. Thanks very much.
For those of you at the back couldn't hear, the gentleman at the front said it looks great, my dream.
Very important for a film.
John, what was it like working with people like Tony Wilson and Martin Hannett at the time?
Okay. When you say work with them, well, it didn't feel like work really most of the times. It was alright really. I didn't really work with Tony Wilson because he worked for Granada. So he kind of had a day job in a way. When he was doing all that, his main job really was linkman, anchorman, and newsreader for Granada. He was on every night of the week. And then he did a little music slot called So It Goes. And he was the first guy after the Bill Grundy show to put the Sex Pistols on at tea time. So, he stuck his neck out for a lot of people. So.
It's always talking about, I come from Manchester, sort of that way, and it's like, I can remember watching Granada Reports and seeing things like that, and yet the news seems sort of tame these days. And yet then you're saying, like, you put the Sex Pistols on at tea time.
Tea time, yeah, Blondie. The tea time show, So It Goes. Blondie, I know. Johnny Thunders. At tea time.
Somebody at the back had their hand up earlier.
Yeah, I just had my hand raised, John. I'm sure everyone would join me. We'd love to hear 1 or 2 poems in the time to say 1 or 2 things. If there is time. But before that, I wanted to ask you, being a great performer in the 70s and the punk era, were you ever spat at?
Oh, absolutely.
possible way.
Absolutely, it went with the territory for a little while, but it was horrible, terrible. It was terrible for me because, you know, it's one thing if you're wearing, you know, PVC traditional stuff, you know, but if you're wearing like a silk and nowhere two-piece suit on my money, it's very annoying. Horrible. And the Americans hated it because they didn't get it at all. You know, I went on tour with Richard Hell and the Voidoids after they'd been on tour with the Clash. And they hated that. The Ramones hated that. To them, it's like they didn't even really like being called punks. You know, it was just like nothing but an insult to an American. And to call them punks and then to spit at them. They just didn't get it at all. A mark of respect, but neither did I, frankly.
Okay, is there anybody else got there? Oh, this one here.
Right, John.
Pardon?
I want to be yours.
I'll do it from a sitting position, right? Okay, right. I'm going to do this. I'll do that one. I want to be yours because it is the wedding favourite. If I got Hallmark to build a card around this, I'd be, you know, I'd put my feet up finally. You only need one. That's Scotty Oldham. More than one, but, you know, it's Christmas, ka-ching. Well, I want to be yours it is to weddings, it is to the modern wedding what Eric Idle's always look on the bright side of life is to humanist funerals. It's indispensable. So, this one does have a bit of a use apparently. The number of people who say that this is listen, honey, he's reading our poem. So I guess this is probably the most useful poem there is. So in that it's helping to populate the world in some small way. So let me be your vacuum cleaner, breathing in your dust. Let me be your Morris Marina, I will never rust. If you like your coffee hot, let me be your coffee pot. You call the shots, I want to be yours. Let me be your raincoat for those frequent rainy days. Let me be your dreamboat when you want to sail. Let me be your teddy bear, take me with you anywhere. I don't care, I want to be yours. Let me be your... how's it go from there? That's never how it goes. Let me be your raincoat for those frequent rainy days. Let me be your dreamboat when you want to sail. Let me be your teddy bear, take me with you anywhere. I don't care, I want to be yours. Is that it? Thank you. And, I'm sorry I forgot that one, but you know, I don't go to a lot of weddings. It's more the humanist funeral. Far more of them I get invited. I could go to 5 a week, but man cannot live on vol au vent, so
John, I'd like to ask, is there any other poets or sort of counterparts that you think you find inspirational for your art yourself?
What other poets? Contemporary poets?
Any other lyricists or wordsmiths?
She was on in Mansfield on the same. We were double booked actually. Otherwise I'd have gone and seen her while I was in the end. I love Pam. She's got her own show on Radio 4 now, and I was trying to get next to her on BBC. I was on this programme called Chain Reaction recently. Where somebody interviews you, people interview who they like. It was Hooky wanted to interview me, and they did so, and then I had to pick somebody. But it's not like, you know, it's a bit hard to think because they kept pushing Marx. I don't know Marx. You know, I've got no Marx Steele. You know, I've got no axe to grind there. Put me down as a well-wisher, in that I don't wish him any specific harm. They kept pushing him in front. Do you want to interview Mark Dill? I said, well, I wouldn't know what to say. I've never paid him. I've never paid money to go. I don't really have seen him on telly. You know, we'd run out of shit to talk about. I find them sort of situations awful. Anyway, one-on-one. I'm not one of them eyeball concept types. It's going to go ugly. well, who do you think? And I says, Pammy. So at first he's thinking, you're having a laugh, ain't you? You know, for some reason they've always put me and Pam in opposition to each other. So I'd be antipathetic to what she does, and she probably thinks I'm vulgar. And I think she might be a bit sweet. I can see how people might sort of, you know, run away with that idea, but we'd never run out of shit to talk about. And I think she's great. We'd do it fabulous. She's great what she does. She writes about her world, I write about mine, with a degree of veritas. You know what I mean? She's funny. And she's remarkably, she looks great. In fact, I spoke to her husband. I had to. Her husband's her agent, a guy called Dudley Russell. Very nice. Nice guy. So so they kept throwing up barriers between me. It's a conspiracy. I've got a bug on my eyes about the BBC. You know, forget about Jimmy Savile. Fucking up my plans. And one of them is, it's not you're having a laugh, Angel. I said, no, why would I be having a... Please, can you... He said, no, you could see he didn't want Pam anywhere near it. It was all like his Trotskyist mates from fucking Polytechnic. No, she's too... She probably believes in royalty. You know what I mean? I could see, the air was crackling with prejudice. I said, you don't want me to interview. You don't want me to interview her, do you? No, it's not that, John, but, you know, you're the opposite ends of the universe. I said, no, we're not. We do the same job. We'll have things to talk about when things run out, it'll be. Yeah, that rhyme in, I wish I'd looked after my teeth. That would be How did you get that? Do you have a rhyming dictionary, man? Loads of questions I wanted to ask you. Just from the kind of career level, you know, technique. We can talk about technique. Everybody I've said it to since then, I tried to get Pam Ayres, everybody I've mentioned that to have gone, oh, that would have been fantastic. Yeah, but he's got the job at the B. Which one of us is the booking guy? See what I'm saying? Don't forget that the BBC is the organisation that got the first shout on The Simpsons because Tracy Ullman is a good socialist. She gave the BBC first shout. They turned it down. They turned the motherfucker down. And withhold your fucking licence fees. It's only going to go on legal costs. Keep it in your fucking pocket. Not one of this like that, guys, but check that one to Barclays.
Okay, there's another hand up here.
There's a fantastic image in the film of a plectrum-shaped blue record sleeve with an orange vinyl record inside. I'm just wondering if you've ever done a Q&A session at an independent cinema where one of those records was left at the reception with a Sharpie ready to sign. I'm just wondering.
Why has that happened this evening?
Maybe it has, I don't know.
Okay. Coming at you. Well, that's not happened before tonight, because...
we got any more? Yo!
Hey.
Yo!
How do you involve the Sugar Pops adverts?
They let their details, it was before the days of mobile phones or computers or anything, they found out where I was next appearing in London and left a contact number in an envelope at the box office. It was an advertising firm called Young and Rubicam, who are still going from strength to strength, I believe, and yeah, like that. And I can't remember what these very successful scenery, but it's won awards. In fact, Mr. Quaker said to me, he said, Johnny, we can't make enough sugar. I was hired for my brainwashing skills.
Are there any more questions for the production side? Things are up here on the stage. Made a beautiful film. Johnny? How about if we have another poem from Johnny to round off?
Okay then. While we're on the subject of another short one. Sometimes the short ones are best. And in this case, while we're on the subject of the advertising world, this is one I wrote for the Martini people in the hope that in return they would send to me a year's supply or a lifetime supply, whichever is the greater, of their innovating beverage. And this one's called Home Honey I'm High. Frontal lobe, just get a trim, or did you meet the Moonies? Wrong on both counts, Jim. See many Martoonies. Scotty Clarke.
John Ross, the director.
Who's better than these guys?
Of the Kid generation, it's Telly Sally time, because you may know on the 31st of October, the Mayhem Horror Film Festival, starting here, get the brochure on the way out, and on the 1st of November is the now internationally famous Bang Short Film Festival. Here to watch that. And outside at the box office, we are selling the copies of the DVD of the film from the production company, and all the money goes into buying licenses to take the film to America. So please buy a film on the way out. Mr. Clarke will sign it. We've got two Polish guys backstage practicing these signatures. And if you haven't got any money on you now, go to Amazon and it will be there for you. Evidently John Cooper Clarke, and he's supporting the film to take the film to America.
Very
so,
reasonably priced at £10.
£10. Thank you. And thank you, Mr. George. Thank you.
Thank you very much.